Just want to say hello and thank you for joining us. And of course, share this segment to your people. You're on your profile and help us reach as many people as possible. Constantine Talk Show Live is a weekly segment, and it's hosted by the International Association of Home Staging Professionals, IAHSP, which I'm the chairwoman. And this is our 80th episode. So excited to be able to continue to bring you meaningful conversations and interviews with people and discuss topics that are important to us. So today we have a good show for you. I have a guest from SageBrook Home, so I'm waiting for her to join us. And have some announcements we'll go over. And then I did want to talk about the whole COVID-19 and some things that we need to know as staging business owners and so forth, and just sort of do a check-in to see how you guys are doing as well. So make sure to say hello as you tune in. Those of you that are watching, can you let me know if you can see me? Last week I wasn't seen for 20 minutes. Nobody told me. So it's not just seeing me, it's actually hearing me and seeing me. So if those of you that are tuned in, if you could make a comment. So, okay, it looks like I can be seen because I just checked my phone. Awesome. Okay, good. So as you guys tune in, good morning, everybody. So some announcements that we have. So, of course, today is Stager Wednesday. We're raising the standard. Made some announcements about the Professional Stager and Property Marketer Organization, PSPMO. Hopefully you all saw that. We have just one more confirmation we're getting from our Education Advisory Board, and then we have our full Executive Board and our advisory leadership level ready to go, and then we'll be moving forward with committees and so forth to get some of the essential work finalized, and then we're excited to be able to officially launch. So it actually is launched. It's just to be able to start taking memberships and so forth. The goal is to raise the standard, set standards, and also create a clear pathway for professional stagers to be in this market, because there's a difference between somebody who's professional and somebody who is just doing this as a hobby or for fun and has really no official background in staging. And those are the people we see struggle with pricing, with questions about how to run a business. And all I can say is do yourselves a favor, those of you that want to be in the industry long term, and get some education, get a foundation in your business to help you so you don't struggle, and use Facebook as your training ground for relying on the generosity of other people to teach you what you need to know. In the classes right now, there's a really great deal on a lot of the classes. And so do yourselves a favor and get some education. And you'll thank me later because you won't be struggling. So anyhow, but we're excited. So Stager Wednesday, raise the standard. I did want to throw this up, of course. So our conference at the end of September. So right now we are still planning on holding it unless this situation with the COVID-19, the coronavirus, continues a lot longer than people are saying. Other associations have canceled their live conferences. And so, we are still planning on having ours at this point. And it's a great opportunity to meet colleagues from all over the world, to get some education, to network, learn. It's education for beginner, intermediate, and advanced level stagers. So there's something for everybody, of course. And of course, our fabulous speakers that we're going to have. We have our 3 keynote speakers right now. On the left, you can see Chris Widener, and he was my guest last week on the show, and just so knowledgeable, and what a wonderful person. He has written 20 books, actually 21. His 21st book will be dropping in October, and he'll be speaking on his book, The Art of Influence. And so he's, of course, worked with Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar. Jim Rohn was Tony Robbins, thank you, his little protege, if you will. And so very well known in the professional speaker world and the motivational world, the business leadership and so forth world, and he's one of the top 50 motivational speakers in the world. So that's something that's significant, and we're very happy to have him. In the middle, of course, is Johnny Fowler, and some of you heard him on our IHOSP membership call 2 months ago, and we'll get him on this show as well. But he will be speaking specifically about marketing and social media. And I know that some people think like, well, I don't really need to know more, but it's always evolving and changing, and he is a wealth of knowledge. Talks faster than I do, and it's going to cram in a lot in his 2-hour session. And you're going to come away with our conference. We're not just surface, we're diving deep. So we're not, I call it not snorkeling, we're actually scuba diving. And what I mean by that is the topics that you're going to hear, it's not just this is what you need to do, but it's also how to do it. And so the details will be there. So you're going to come away with not a to-do list, but a done list. A to-done list is what Amy Powers, your quote, thank you for that. Hey, Karen. Hey, June. Thanks for tuning in. So you're going to come away with actual work that you'll either have done at the conference or things, you know, the details as far as how to implement the things that you're learning about. I think that's really, really important from any event that you go to. Otherwise, we have this to-do list and then we leave, we get sidetracked with our businesses, and a lot of the stuff never gets implemented. So it's not just, hey, these are great things to put in your business, but it's also, why do I need these? You know, why is it good and how does it work? So I'm really excited for Johnny. And then, of course, on the right is Ravi Huti Singh. Hope I said that right, Ravi. He is part of our Global Diversity Expert designation that we'll be issuing. And I'll be putting some information up about that today, because we also have Kevin Tain, who will be sharing during that segment, Deborah Plowden, who'll be sharing, and then also Deepti. So it'll be a nice diverse panel, and then possibly one more person on that. And that's important because, you know, the world is diverse and we need to talk about inclusivity and how to work with the different cultures that we are working with as stagers and real estate professionals, that we go into these people's homes and sometimes we don't always understand what we see, and how the different cultures, what different things mean to them. And so, because we never want to be in a place where we are offending anybody. Hey, Virginia. Hey, Linda. All right, so we're excited for that. And then, of course, we're going to have some other fabulous speakers. We have already announced Joanne Leonard-Weary and Sandra Reyes will be doing a session on trends. And their topic is a stiletto approach to trends with the work boot mindset. So again, not just teaching you what it is, but also how to work with these things in your business. So I'm excited for that. And then Renee Helton will be speaking on a discovery session, and DISC is capitalized because it's the DISC profile. We're going to have all the attendees take the DISC profile prior to conference, have the results, and then we'll be discussing those. What does this all mean? And how to apply it in your business just for yourself, and how to build a team, knowing what your profile shares, and also how to work with your clients, how to adapt to work with them. So anytime that we can share about personalities and temperaments and you know, human nature and so forth, that's my wheelhouse as well. That's my background. And so it's a topic that's near and dear to my heart. And Renee is super knowledgeable in that. And so she'll be speaking on that with our attendees. So we are looking forward to having her joining us as well. And we'll be announcing some other speakers. Those of you that did submit for speaking, I have looked at everything, and then of course this virus situation has taken a lot of my focus, you know, just to keep things viable and so forth. And so I appreciate patience as people wait to hear. And it's also, we want to know what's going to be going on with the conference. And of course, a lot of that is up in the air. So while you are home waiting, let me actually throw this up here first. Portugal, of course, is postponed until May 2021. So if you didn't hear that, our European conference, May 2021. So you got more time to save up money between now and then. And I will actually be teaching the consultation and communication course. Now I'll be putting that together for them as a courtesy, because I don't want them to wait a year. So those of you that are in Europe, I did go through and adjust the presentation. I will be recording that so that you can actually, you know, listen, and but you'll have that information, and it is several hours. It was planned to be like a full day class, so we'll see how long it actually takes me to do that as a webinar mode versus live. All right, so now while you are home and you're wondering like what to do with my time, there are designations you can earn, advance your education, your credentials. So first of all, here's this investor staging consultant designation. We issued that in Nashville in 2019. And so that is now available for anybody to take online. And so you learn how to work with investors and also the short-term rental and vacation property people. And I know right now that whole industry is just sort of up in the air because of all the cancellations on short-term rentals, and a lot of these property owners are left with, you know, multiple properties and no way to pay for them. So it's kind of squirrely right now, but that investor market will still be strong when we get back to normal. And so you want to learn how to work with them. You know, how do you market yourself? What's the mindset of an investor? The mindset of an investor is very different than the mindset of a luxury client, a luxury agent. And we taught that designation the year before. So you can also earn your luxury home staging specialist designation. This one, you listen to the webinar, you watch it, you take a test for all of these. And then this one, you actually have to send in 3 luxury projects to get your actual certified logo. So, and that can be immediately or, 6 months later or whenever. But the mindset of a luxury client is very different than the mindset of an investor. They're both concerned about money. These people are much more budget sensitive and need to know a lot of that information up front as far as how to plan and, how does it impact their bottom line. So the mindsets are very different. And then the buyer trends specialist designation, that's about 3 hours. I'll be actually 4 hours of education. I have updated it. I will be recording that this week. And so you're going to get an updated version of that. How to work with buyers as far as, or how to work with sellers, and understand how to educate them about why we stage. Is not for them, it's for the buyer, it's for the unknown buyer. So who are the buyers? What are they purchasing? Why are they purchasing what they do? Machines and so forth, to finishes, countertops, things like that. What are they looking for? Types of properties that they're purchasing. Who are these groups? And so it's very thorough, defines terminology for us as far as what contemporary versus modern versus transitional means. It also talks about the different types of properties. When you drive up, you see the exterior. What kind of a house is it? You can tell by the elevation, exterior. So that's all covered in this buyer trends specialist. And so all of these are $175 normal. And if we have any specials running, you'll see that online. So make your time productive at home and get some additional credentials. And I always say credentials give you credibility and clout with your clients. So say that 10 times fast. Credentials give you credibility and clout with your clients. Okay. So today we are going to be talking about what to do as a business owner. So last week I did record a session on business disruption in your policy coverage. It was recorded after this general home staging talk show live, and I spoke with KMRD, who's a insurance broker, if you will, and they specialize in writing policies for stagers. And so we discussed what business disruption means, business interruption insurance and so forth, and how you might be able to apply for that. And so if you want to watch that segment, it is on our Home Staging Talk Show live pages. It's also on several other pages. It's on homestagingtalk.com, and it's also uploaded to our YouTube channel, or iHosp YouTube channel. And so take a listen to that. It's all about how your policy is written. My policy actually covers the COVID-19. So I am covered for business disruption and business interruptions. So what that means is my income as a stager, if it has shown a significant drop, which most of us have had that, and I can demonstrate by taking a look at showing financials from last year and the year before, which I do have, we have records, and can show the impact that I can put a claim in for the insurance. And of course, they're going to want to deny, as insurance companies like to do. So KMRD is our advocate. They will actually advocate for us to the insurance companies, which is really important. And so one of the things you need to know about your policy is if your insurance person isn't taking calls or whatever it is, if you want someone to take a look at your policy to let you know if you have coverage, KMRD has kindly offered to assist people who have questions. And you don't even have to policy with them. Maybe after you meet with them or discuss with them, you'll think about, the future, making sure that your policy has everything you need in it. But anyhow, that's going to be super important, and it's not going to be something that's going to pay out right now. It's going to be, probably several months down the road. But we do have options as business owners. So if you didn't catch that segment, go ahead and watch that. And then if you have questions, their information was provided during the segment, or you can reach out to us and we will let you know. And then today we will be talking about resources for small business, other things that we can be doing right now to keep productive and stay viable during this time. So that will come up after our special guest. All right, so we'll be interviewing SageBrook Home. SageBrook is one of our preferred vendors. We're very happy to have them on the list of our IHOS preferred vendor as a part of our wholesale buying program. We've taken people to their showrooms and so forth. And they have wonderful, wonderful accessories and decor and accent furniture and so forth. And Jennifer is here to speak with us about what they are doing during this time in order to still, for them to remain viable and be able to provide stagers with things that we may need, knowing that Market and High Point was canceled. That's supposed to be rescheduled for June. I hope that happens. Right now, the lockdowns are extending into the end of April for most places. And so that's a whole nother month. And that's not April Fool's. I actually thought about doing something funny today, like making a joke, saying something and then going April Fool's. But I chose not to do that because I feel like it may not be funny based on what people are going through. So anyway, but I'm happy to have them here. So I'm going to pull Jennifer in here with me. If you're ready, Jennifer, it's going to count down for you. And there she is. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I can't hear you. Hang on a second. It's my thing here. Okay. Hi.
That's right. Hi. Good morning.
My computer. I turn the volume down at night because I get these notifications. It's so irritating. I can hear it all the way in my bedroom. So then I'm like, I have to get up and turn the computer down.
Well, thanks for having me on today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being here. How are you? How are you hanging in there?
I'm good. I'm in Oklahoma. I know we're all in different places, so it's not too bad here yet, but I'm sure it's coming. So I'm hunkered down in my home office like a lot of people and just kind of hoping we can ride this all out together. So
I know it's unprecedented times for sure. And so, a lot of people are relying on social media and, wondering, what's happening. And it seems like every day there's something different that comes out in the news as far as predictions and so forth. And so as a business owner, my whole focus is like, this is just a temporary situation in the long term, grand scheme of things. And we want to come out of this strong, as strong as we can. So talk about SageBrook. First of all, let people know who you are.
Right.
And yeah, sure.
I'm the sales manager for SageBrook. I can't talk this morning. And I work with all the stagers nationwide. And we're just so excited to be part of this family. It's been great. We participated in your show in Nashville, which was amazing. And so we've actually seen, with this whole COVID thing going on, that stagers are actually still able, a lot of them, to do their business, which is exciting. Obviously, we've had a slew of orders get canceled and pushed out, which, we're all struggling with that. But I wanted to make sure and let your,
We lost her. She'll come back. So her connection went out. So we'll get her to come back. So, and I'm excited to hear what she has to say because I know that it's something special that they're doing for the you're back. I know. I saw you pop in. Let's see. Where are you? There we go. Hang on. I got to put you back in the stream. Nope. Let's see. There you are. Show and stream. Okay. There you are. That's going to count down again. There you are.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
So yeah, it's all right. So you're saying you were excited about?
Yeah, just, the fact that, again, I know stagers and designers are really able to do some business, which is a blessing. And I wanted to let them all know, obviously, that as a vendor, we provide a lot of product. We are open. We are shipping. Would you mind if I showed a 90-second video that the company put together?
No, I'd love that. And if you want to send that to me too, we can put that on our pages.
I'm going to move over to my computer. Can you, whoops, is that working here?
SageBrook Home has a full 200,000
Can you hear it?
House filled with over 12,000 SKUs of merchandise and more arriving every day. We pride ourselves on shipping within 48 hours to over 93 countries with a fulfillment rate of over 90%.
Wow, big operation.
Yes.
We offer the widest variety of decor styles, including glam, modern, contemporary, transitional, farmhouse, coastal, garden, and more. Our newly revamped website utilizes the latest technology and is updated in real time with availability, incoming product, and new features. Once registered at SageBrookHome.com, you'll have access to all of our in-stock and incoming product. SageBrook Home has just released new lighting and decor catalogs, which are currently being distributed. Call your local sales rep or corporate office, or simply request one online at sagebrookhome.com/catalogs. Missed a market? Virtual tours are available for all of our showrooms. Simply pick a showroom and click the link on our website. It's like you're actually there.
That's so cool. Matterport.
Yeah.
At SageBrook Home, we consider you family, and family always has you covered. Contact us with anything you need.
Oh, we lost her. So she'll be back in a second. So that's really cool. So they have, like, if you know the Matterport, how that works with videos, you know, they have the little circles on the floor, and then you can actually, it's almost like you're walking through the showroom. It's really cool. Okay, so hang on a second, Jennifer. Get you back in here. So I love that feature. So we can still
Thank you. Yeah.
be in the showroom without actually being there, see all the product. And they do have amazing product. I want that round table with the gold, like,
Yeah.
with the metal, the scroll things.
Yeah. I
Every
think
time
what
I
I'd
see
like
that, I drool over it.
what I'd like to offer really is for, anybody that's interested in doing a walk through the showroom. I'm going to set up Zoom meetings. So you've got my contact info on your site, which is Jennifer at SageBH.com. Reach out to me. And if you want to set up a time, let's do an appointment. I mean, we can't let this stop us. And I can do a Zoom meeting with you. We can walk through the showroom together. If you want to put an order together, that's great. If you want to just see what we have, I'm happy to show you that. So when your business is up and running strong again, you'll know who we are as a vendor. So yeah, I'm excited. They put that clip together pretty quick this past week, and I think it's great. So I will send that out to you to forward to
Yeah, and you know what? I actually think, because I want to know one of the things is with stagers is they think like, well, I don't need, because I know you guys will actually break case. There's a little bit more to do that. You can actually go to their website. Let's say you're looking for accessories that are white. You can actually search by color. You can
Yep.
search by style. So you can really hone it down, because that's probably the number one reason why people don't purchase is you get into these sites and there's so much available and you start building your cart, and then it's like, I can't make a decision. I got 4,000 things in my cart, and or $10,000 worth, and I only meant to spend, 500. So I'm like, now I got to narrow it down. But you can actually pick by color, by style. And I think now is a great time to align yourself with a colleague in your area. Let's say maybe you both want to share an order. So you can share shipping. You can, purchase more volume of an item and then break it up. So this IHOS chapters, that's great for doing that. If you have any other gatherings, so any of the staging chapters, that's, I think, a really smart thing to do versus feeling like, oh, I can't afford to buy all of this. I need a few things. So think about who else you might be able to bring in. And we lost her again, so she'll come back. So Jennifer, you can contact her, and I put her email up there, Jennifer at SageBH.com, and you can set up an appointment to talk with her. And of course, any of our vendors would be happy to speak with us. I know that they're probably all working virtually from home. You guys are headquartered out of Southern California, correct?
That's right. Yep.
So
And
do you have,
go ahead.
I would say, do you have the stagers that are local? Are they able to? They can just drive in and drive up
Yeah.
and pick up.
Yep. They need to
I
place
used
their
to live
order
in Southern
ahead of
Cal.
time, but we're turning, obviously our business is slower, running a little bit
Yeah.
on a skeleton crew, but we're promising to turn orders around within 24 to 48 hours. But
Okay.
yeah, if you're definitely local, we invite local chapters to come. Let's set up a
Really?
meeting at our showroom. We're in Commerce, California. Yeah. And we've got a
Hey, look,
huge,
Kevin, if you're watching, Kevin Tane, either now or in the future, we should do a meeting at their showroom. We should organize that. And actually, that would be a great field trip for a live class. So you're in what city?
we're in Commerce.
City of Commerce. So that's,
Yep.
I used to live in Redondo Beach.
I think it's north.
Younger. I'm trying to think. City of Commerce is inland. What's the neighborhood? Is it near Torrance or City of Commerce? Is it, I should look it up.
You have to look at. I'm from Oklahoma, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, I want to say that it's sort of the south, but I can look it up. But anyhow,
Okay.
we have classes in Long Beach and Anaheim that we'll eventually get back to. We're doing everything online right now, but that actually would be an excellent field trip. And then do you have any other locations around the country? Is that just the one?
Nope. So we have this showroom we just opened a few months ago, and it's magnificent. I mean, it's our best showroom. The lady in the video was standing in our showroom there, and all those scans of like coastal and everything, those were from our showroom in LA. It's amazing. It's the biggest one we have, but we do have showrooms in Vegas, Atlanta, High Point, and then we have some product in Dallas at our rep showroom there. So, but yeah, if you want to set up even just to use our facility there and have a meeting, we'd be happy to offer that to you. So just let me know. It's
Yeah.
again.
So Kevin says it's next to Diamond Sofa. So Kevin, we'll talk about that. And I see Karen and Linda, you're on there. I think that would be great for a chapter to be able to do orders, combine orders, not just with this company, but with any of the vendors that we have, to be able to share in the shipping and the cost and so forth. So
The other thing I
yeah.
want to mention, if I could real quick, is we are, because of, the times right now, we're looking to try to ship anything we can, of course, but we are offering 25% off, which we never do.
You never do that. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
because our prices, we just come out of the gate. So, to give the best price to everybody, we don't play a discount game like some of the vendors do. So, but right now, because we're trying to get business going, we're offering 25% for any shipments that are made between now and the end of April. So if you have a need for product, as you mentioned, they could partner with another stager to share an order. Our orders are minimum is $750, but we did start a designer program in January. So you can do less than $750. You can order one lamp if that's what you need. So the website has what the designer price is if you order one. So you can see that. And then we charge 35% for shipping if you're outside of LA for anything under our minimum of $750.
Okay.
So
I'm putting,
again, go ahead.
and if it's over 750, what is the
Then it
shipping?
varies by where you are. So like Northern California, I'm not Northern, California's 12%. It's 15% up through like Washington and Oregon. The middle part of the United States, it's like 17%. If you go to the East Coast, it's going to be 20%. So we have flat freight rates depending on what state you're in. So you always know how much it's going to cost you. And that map is on our website of what the freight rate is. So you can see it there depending on where you're located. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, but the
Yeah, this
25% is really a great opportunity if you've thought about doing it and, just haven't put your toe in the water. Now's a great time to get some product. The other thing is I've put together some packages for stagers.
Oh,
So
awesome.
yeah, so I put together some $750 packages so you could kind of see what you could.
So she has some packages she put together for stagers. We keep losing her connection there. I'm going to ask her where those are. Let's see. There you are. So your packages, where would people find those? Are they online?
No, you'd have to email me, or maybe I can get them to you guys and you can
That'd
send
be
them
great.
out. Yep. But I want to mention too, because we do lighting and lamps is such a big part of our business. They range from $59 to $69 as an average lamp. So
That's
think about
awesome.
that. If you bought 10 lamps, okay, 5 pairs, you're at $690. So if you throw some lamps in with some accessories, it's so easy to get to the minimum. Our lamps are amazing. We have over 800. So what I pulled together are some list of what we have in our warehouse ready to ship.
Okay.
So, and we're going to be sending out some emails that'll show, and I think Krista was going to try to send it through social media, your platforms on social media. She'll do some little blitzes of, like we sorted it by color. So we'll be sending out, what do we have available in blue? What do we have available in white? What do we have available in gold? What
Okay.
lamps do we have that are sets? So we have some great new lamp sets that are $75 for two.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we've got some really great, exciting things happening. So we're trying to put that together in a little bit more easy format for everybody just to kind of scroll through and see what we have to offer. So again, I can share those with people if they email me, or if we can get it to you guys and you have some way to distribute it, that would be great too. So,
That'd be great. Yes, just make sure to send that to me because I do a lot
okay,
of the social media pages. A
perfect.
lot of times you can't post unless you have permission, but I'd be happy to put that on there to the home staging group, also iHosp group, a lot of our private, and then even the public side. So
Perfect.
they're on
Awesome.
there.
Great.
Exciting, exciting. So thank
Yeah.
you so much for joining us. Appreciate you being with us, and I'm hoping to see everybody in Denver. I mean, we're still, um, in limbo. I probably won't know until at this point May, as far as that moving forward. I mean, we're end of September, so I'm feeling pretty confident that the conference will happen, and we will be doing ours in person. That's the goal. If something happens that we're not able to, then we'll shift and probably do a virtual conference because I feel like education is so important. The ability to get in front of, to see people live is super important. And so I feel like we'll do everything we can on our end to make that happen.
Great.
And I'm just, praying that the country. I mean, there's just like a total snowball effect. So to me, it's not just, okay, the veil is lifted. It's also, can people afford to come? That would be the next piece of it. So, I mean, our conferences are not as expensive as others, like, things that I've attended recently where it's $600, $700, $900 for a ticket. Ours are $575, $595. And then of course you get all the education, and it's fun. It's fun to see everybody. So I feel like that might be the first opportunity that we all get to see each other after being stuck in our homes and relegated to, like, restricted. So I think my goal is to really make it happen. Well, of course, make sure to let everybody know if anything changes, but we are planning on moving forward, unless this thing just drags on. And I'm just really praying that doesn't. So stay safe in Oklahoma. I have a couple of colleagues there, dear friends that are in Pahuska. Do you know where that is?
Yeah, sure. Yep.
Yeah,
Pioneer Woman. I've been up to her store there. So, yeah.
Yeah. And so, that's Catherine and Kimberly Swan, and
Okay.
they're dealing with the Jim, who is the husband and father. So he's pretty ill. And
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
I know our thoughts are for what a tough thing to be going through. And they're just such a wonderful family. So, and then I know Amy Moore is in Oklahoma, so that little pocket there. And you've got Keller Williams. They've got a big office there, right? Because I know Mo Anderson's in Oklahoma City.
Right. And I'm in Tulsa. So, yeah, we're kind of spread out. Yeah, Pawhuska's about an hour and a half from here. But listen, thank you so much for having me on. I hope everybody stays healthy and safe.
Yep.
And, we will all get through this. So we just got to hang together and be positive. So
Absolutely.
let me know if I can do anything to help.
Yeah. Thanks, Jennifer. And so make sure to send me the information, and I'll follow up with her and get that out to everybody. So that'll be really good. All right. So everybody who's on, so the next thing we're going to talk about is small resources for small business owners. And so first of all, if you are unemployed, like if you were furloughed or let go from a job or what have you, temporarily or permanently right now, you can apply for unemployment. And you want to do that sooner than later, because, even though that stimulus package was passed, it seems like it's an endless supply of money, but it's really not. So don't wait to submit, because you got to go through the system for that. And as a small business owner, so we actually put out on our iHosp site, and I've shared it to a lot of different pages. It was a blog post, but it talks about important information and resources for small businesses impacted by COVID-19. And so first of all, let's talk about your loans and so forth, business lender loans, and are you able to put off having to pay for things? So things like mortgages, rent payments, whether you have a warehouse, you have to owe rent and so forth. A lot of the property managers and landlords are cooperating and helping out at this time. And that I know probably hinges on their ability to not have to make payments and so forth. But it's a big snowball effect. At some point, the money, like if somebody doesn't pay their house payment, then the bank doesn't get their money, the lender, and then they have the money, that's owed possibly to somebody else. And so it starts to snowball. And however, there are provisions in place for some of these businesses to get help that then can trickle down to you and me, that we don't have to then go into debt or try to figure out financially how we're going to live through this. So SBA government, so sba.gov/funding. So I'm going to type that in here, sba.gov. Whoops, I can't type this morning. I took all my nails off almost. So sad. I have one pinky remaining, my two thumbs. Anyway, it's not as important as being safe. So the SBA.gov, so Small Business Administration, they've got a couple different loans out there. One of them is the one that's the easiest to get and to apply for would be helping you with keeping your company running. So it helps with payroll. There's an immediate request for a $10,000 upfront. It's not a grant. I forget the word. So it's an immediate $10,000, but that's not all you would get it. They're going to base it on your overall revenue and what your cost of goods sold and your profit, net profit, and so forth, and the payroll. So for example, if you have a payroll that's, $20,000 a week or $10,000 a week or what have you, they would take a look at that, and they're supposed to be hopefully financing or loaning 2.5x whatever your normal payroll is or whatever your expenses are, so to stay viable. So you need to go to sba.gov and you would file under the economic crisis, the COVID crisis. And what they're going to ask for is number of employees, your company information, your EIN number. They're going to ask you what your overall gross revenue is for 2000, the 12 months preceding January. So obviously 2019, and then your cost of goods sold, COGS, you need to put that in. So it's not as intensive as a normal application that would actually ask for transcripts of your IRS records, your tax returns and so forth. Now, I have done this for 2 different entities, so I'm waiting to hear back. I know I got a confirmation, so you immediately get a confirmation of your loan application for funding, and then I don't know what the next step is. I don't know if money just shows up or they have to evaluate it, and then they're going to ask for additional documents. So if that's a route you want to go to, get your ducks organized right now. Make sure that you have your information for your financials to be able to submit. And then what the rumor is, and what I was reading also, is that a lot of these loans end up being forgiven. So if you do end up needing, 10,000, 100,000, whatever it is, to stay viable as a business, and this is for any business owner, not just staging, that a lot of those loans end up getting forgiven, which, I'm not going to guarantee that's going to happen, but from what I even read on the site, that's what ends up happening a lot of times. And so it's not that we want to go, woohoo, free money. You have to justify using it. You have to use it to run your company. And because I guess they will check up on that. So it is to be used to keep your companies afloat. There's also another SBA loan that you can file for if you're a business owner that's a little bit more intensive. It's not the normal SBA loan, and I think the amounts that they will be giving in that category are larger than these others. So we all have time right now. A lot of us are on social media. But Carla, and so take the time to do some research. It's going to help you advance your business and do things that are going to help set you up for success when this is all over. My hope is that there's not a lot of people that are not able to remain viable, but I know that there's a lot of stagers that, depending on what your state has said, whether or not you can work. So Colorado, I can still stage. So our company can still be out there staging vacant homes. We're doing that. But the volume, of course, is dipped because, either, at least in our state, there were about 1,400 new properties that were listed last month, 900 or so of those already under contract. So the market is swift. So that it's just like the hot market. I don't need to stage because it's a hot market. Well, the fact is that every house needs to be staged. And yet I know a lot of people are opting possibly not to do that because of, not really sure what's going to happen. They don't want to be paying for the staging. And so I know a lot of stagers, this is the time that you would want to be making some adjustments on your pricing, because having some money coming in is better than zero. And I'm not saying give it away. Of course, if you do any kind of a special pricing adjustment on your normal prices, reflect that in your pricing so that, 3 months from now, when things hopefully are back to normal, the client that you worked with, you can't come back and say, well, gosh, I want that same price that you gave me back in April or March when we were, cooperating, making things a little bit easier for people to stage, and we lowered our normal pricing. So you don't want to go back and have them go back and expect that when now business is back to normal. So, and anytime that, I've taken a loss on any staging, you can deduct that from your taxes. You need to save that information. So if you have clients right now that are asking you to waive payments or defer payments, you need to keep track of that, because that puts emotional hardship on us. And certainly if they're not able to pay for whatever reason, I don't know if we go so far as to ask for proof of that. I do have a client right now that we staged a property, nice high-end property. So it's an expensive ongoing monthly inventory use fee. And they came, right when this hit, and we need to, possibly defer. Well, their house had only been actively listed on the market for 16 days on the MLS. They tried to sell it themselves for 2 weeks prior. So my feeling is, as long as you're continuing to market this house and you haven't taken it off the market, and the staging is being used to attract buyers and so forth, that we should be paid for that. If somebody does remove it from active listing, depending on the market and the state, if they're saying real estate is not an essential service and so properties can't be shown and so forth, then as a stager, I would be looking at do I really want to go pick up all this stuff? Or is it better just to leave it sitting there and cease getting payments for it, and then keep track of that, keep track of what you're losing on a monthly basis, or however, whatever your terms are, and then talk to your CPA about being able to deduct that off of your 2020 taxes as a loss, because basically that's what's happening. We're taking a loss on our items that are sitting out in properties that we're not collecting money on. So I think that's really important to be able to do that. And I'm interested to know, those of you that are on the call, how many of you guys are still out there staging? How many of you are still taking new clients? And there's a lot of concern with stagers who are wondering if they're going to get in trouble. So I'll talk about my state. Real estate is essential as a service. However, the police and so forth are out there. If they see people driving around in a car, they're going to wonder, what are you doing? And I know in Denver County, for example, they've started issuing citations to companies who are remaining open. And these were things like GameStop got a citation. There were 4 stores. I forget what they do, but anyhow, they were all brick and mortar. And so they had been warned a couple of times. So now if you do get a citation, it's actually a court order. You'll actually end up paying a fine. So don't put yourself in that position. And I know some people were saying that there's paperwork that they can carry around that shows that they are an essential aspect of real estate is happening. So just make sure to check with your local city and county, because some of their regulations are actually overriding the state. And it's usually the reverse. Usually the state overrides the counties and cities, but just make sure that you are compliant. And let's see, this SBA. So Linda, thank you for putting that on there. That's great. Yeah, because the one I have is, she put the SBA thing on there, sba.gov/funding-programs/disaster assistance. And it's this big long, you can see this here. This is all this big long thing here. So SBA.gov has a lot of really good information. I did talk to them about a week or so ago, and now you can't hardly get through on the phone. So you have to do a lot of stuff online. What about your warehouses and other obligations you might have with, maybe you have cards you use for your business at home, maybe you've got Pier 1 or whatever it is. And so make a phone call to these places and see if they will defer payments, reduce the interest. They're not going to charge late fees if you can't make your payment. There are certain companies that are just like, nope, business as usual. Wells Fargo, thanks Wells Fargo for nothing. Wells Fargo actually was really late to the game. If you have an auto loan, any kind of a business loan or whatever, I would talk to the lender and see if there's a way to defer. And most people are being really understanding. We have Capital One cards, for example. They were not. My husband called and this person was extremely rude on the phone. So screw you, Capital One, for being that way with people who are struggling. And it was, and I guess I will backtrack a little bit on that. Perhaps this person was getting a lot of calls from a lot of different people asking for help, but to just take this hard line stance, I don't think is right. And so these companies need to be outed, if you will, to the news and let people know that if there's a company in your area that is not cooperating, and maybe your landlord or whatever it is, it wouldn't hurt to tell somebody about them, that this person, while everybody else is making adjustments and we're being asked to make adjustments, and we're small business, we're micro business owners, we're not even, what we consider a small business based on volume, but a micro business is an individual. It could be like a consultant or whatever. And then some of us do have, independent contractors that work with us and employees. And so, if they don't cooperate and we're not able to get funding, my concern is that a lot of people are not going to survive this. And so how many of you remember the industry when the market collapsed in mid 2000s? So where I lived at the time was California, and it was 2005 was when it really started to teeter. And by 2008-9, it was in a full blown, the markets the real estate markets I'm talking about, where we were in Sacramento, short sales and foreclosures were just the norm. And so I remember at that time at our conference, I spoke about thriving in a changing market, how to thrive in a changing market. And I did a whole presentation, and then I actually spoke at different chapters around the country after the conference and did that same presentation. And it was all about adjusting and reinventing ourselves or adding additional services that we can do so that you can thrive. Now, the difference between thrive and survive, what do those two words mean? Thrive is a much more positive word. thrive means it's the attitude that you're going to get better um, and come out of this and still have a viable business. Survive means I'm pulling, it's almost fear-based. I'm pulling back and I'm hoping that I can just survive this time together, but I'm not really doing anything productive for my business so it thrives and grows. So look up the definition of those two words. So we want to thrive in a changing market, not just survive. And I do predict there'll be a lot of stagers who will decide to do something else. These are probably could be people who are newer or just financially aren't getting the help that they need, and that's a concern, because my gut tells me that when the veil is lifted on real estate and so forth all over, that we'll hopefully be able to get back to normal. And I'm thankful for the states that have allowed real estate to continue. Our household, we don't have a corporate jobs really, right? So my husband's a realtor, my son's a realtor, I'm a home stager. Of course, we run the staging association and the training company, but we're self-employed. And so if they ceased the ability for these agents to be able to show properties and list properties and so forth and sell, that would be really, really tough. And so a lot of this can be done virtually with the different lenders and so forth. They're figuring it out. Properties are still being shown in person. So John went out yesterday, the last 2 days, and showed properties, and people bought a place. So the real estate is still happening. There's still buyers out there, and it doesn't have to come to a screeching halt necessarily. But think about what you can do to add to services. And this is why, so see, Betty says, hi, everybody. My daughter has to take paperwork showing her company is essential. Unfortunately, she's not working much at all right now. So the paperwork showing that you are essential, print that off from your state or county or whatever site has it to show that you are an essential part of the industry. We're considered an industry partner. And I'm going to circle back to the whole PSPMO, Professional Stager and Property Marketer Organization. This is a perfect example of why an organization like that is needed, because of course we run IHOSP, there's RISA, there's HSRA, and maybe a couple other smaller groups and so forth. Individually as from these legislators and so forth, but collectively we would have a big voice. And so being able to have home staging actually on a list and not just have it as like a peripheral, okay, it's an industry partner, or they threw in photography and video people and the title and the lenders and so forth, but they didn't actually call us by name. And so I want our name on a list. I want home staging on the list. And so being able to pool our resources and work together as an industry and have unity behind that is super important. And that's the whole goal behind the organization. It's not to take away from associations. It doesn't take membership away, because it's not, in order to belong to the organization, you have to belong to an association. And so if you haven't taken a look at the website for PSPMO, I'm going to put it up here. Oops, I didn't do that right. Okay. PSPMO.org. Hopefully it'll show up there. Take a look at the core values and the mission and vision statement. And the people that are behind this, we're not being paid. And it's not a money grab. And that was an email that went out as, was shared some misinformation about the intent of the organization and the structure and so forth, and try to shed doubt on the people who are behind it. And I felt that was really unfortunate that was done, because the integrity of the people, the leaders that are volunteering their time to put this together to help the industry was questioned, and I don't think that was right. But if anybody has a question about the organization, the formation, what's happening and so forth, get involved, ask questions. And it's to help unify the industry and make us stronger together. And so this would have been a perfect time to have a unified voice for that, to be able to even issue statements about what's happening with the industry at large. And so think about that when you are making decisions about, where to belong and what you want for your business. And we do need a voice with these agencies and so forth, that we're not just this afterthought as an industry. And I actually shared this on, I forget where, when we was on one of my shows recently, the statistics and so forth about the impact we make. And this is when I came back from Inman, I started thinking about the numbers. Okay, so Inman shared about a little over 5 million transactions happened last year. And out of that, there was over a billion leads generated from these different lead generation people, but only about a little over 5 million transactions, that's a small percentage of the overall opportunity. And so I started thinking about that. So I know what my numbers are as staging. We're doing statistical analysis, which I'm working on that, and I'll be hopefully getting that out to everybody in a week or so. We make an impact on probably 2 million real estate agents, the buyer's agents and the seller's agents, because I'm guesstimated that stagers impact about 1 million of those properties, if not more. That's significant. And we make an impact on the overall sales price. And so even though we're not a huge number of people related, in relation to the number of realtors that are out there, and there's 1.4 million realtors worldwide. So I looked that up. It's worldwide, not just in our country. In our country, there's almost 1 million. So there's not as many as you think that are realtors here. And there's a lot of real estate agents. So there's far more real estate agents than there are realtors. And so, hang on just a second. So I started thinking about our impact. And so we need to be sharing this with different entities that we deal with. When they realize that we have an impact on over 20% of the properties that are purchased, bought, and sold, that's huge, I think. So we want to make sure that we are standing up for ourselves and being named, not just as an industry partner with no name. We actually want them to say home staging professionals. So that's important. Okay. I talked about business interruption insurance. And so the video on that, of course, is on our page from last week and also on our different sites. Let's talk about deferred payment plans. What does that mean? So if you have a loan or you have somebody that you pay on a regular basis for services or a house or whatever it is, the payments are deferred. And that means it's not just forgiven, like you don't have to, they're never going to see the money. It'll be tacked onto the back end somehow or broken up in a different way. So when we're looking at clients that are telling us, hey, can you defer my inventory use fee, rental payment, whatever you call it, that can actually be tacked on the back end. That property, as long as the intent is to sell the property, let's say you have to forego a month of that, take that piece and throw it into the closing. Can you please be quiet down there? Sorry, somebody's in the kitchen making noise. I apologize. You can actually put money into the title at closing. So whoever's handling the closing, the escrow company, title, whatever it is, you can submit an invoice for whatever wages you're owed, because that homeowner is going to get all of their money out of the house and the realtor is going to make all of their commission, right? So the stager shouldn't just give up that money. That's not fair. So what I would do is I would keep track of what is owed to you, and then contact the real estate agent, because when the house goes under contract, you need to know who. Well, actually, they have a title company right now. Find out who that is. And then I would want to know how much margin is there in the sale, because they do the whole settlement sheets. They can do an estimated settlement sheet. And I want to make sure that there's money to pay me at the closing, because I know I'm not going to be the first person they're going to write a check to. And so you want to make sure that property has enough margin that you get paid. Otherwise, you will end up taking a loss on that you can write off, or maybe you would make a decision to pick your things up knowing that you're not going to get any money out of the process. So you have some decisions, you have some options as a stager. But so deferred payment plans doesn't mean that they're forgiven, whether that's for house payment, a car payment, credit cards, any of those things. That just means they're tacking it on to the other end. Okay. If the house is delisted temporarily on the MLS, then you can defer use fee for a period of time, like maybe 2 weeks or what have you. But again, it's not a requirement as a stager that you have to do that. And when people have an agreement with you that's enforceable, hopefully you all have your agreements in place with these clients that shows that they are supposed to pay you on a schedule. You have a right to collect that money. So then you have a decision to make of whether you're going to work with these people because of the situation, but don't allow ourselves to get taken advantage of. That's the key. If the house is removed from active listing altogether, as we had one that was removed and the person's moving back into the house, pick up your items right away. They're not going to be used. The person may decide down the road to relist their house, but there's no reason to leave those things in there. If the house is no longer listed, that means that the agreements that are in place with that pretty much are null and void. And so if you leave your stuff sitting in a house when it's been removed from market and the contract is terminated, for all intents and purposes, for the real estate agent, I don't, your stuff really isn't protected anymore under that agreement. So I would definitely be going and picking things up right away and getting them back into wherever you store your things. All right. Stay on top of the closing dates as well for the properties if you do decide to submit something into the title. And again, when you are being paid, I would be finding out when is the closing date, and I would be calling in the day before just to make sure they have your invoice and your paperwork. And I have been paid at closing multiple times, many times through the year, so no, that's usually the process that we have to go through. All right. Do you guys have any questions or comments on anything that you want to share? Let me know. The main thing is your paperwork needs to be organized. If you're going to do the business interruption insurance, make sure that you have your information from the years prior to demonstrate that you have taken a loss. Again, that's going to take a while. Once the dust settles, I can't even file a claim until this is all over, because it's not just about March or April. It could be about May too. I don't know what the impact's going to be. So once I have that, then I'm going to get that ready. And with our downtime at home, how many of you guys are you organizing stuff? Are you working in your warehouses? Are you thinking about, marketing? Are you doing anything different for your businesses with your extra time that you have? Make it productive. And because I know that it's easy to stay on Facebook. I have to just not go in there because there's so many people engaging right now and commenting and posting and so forth. You could suck hours away and not realize it. And so make a goal for yourself every day to do something productive for your business, knowing that we're going to come out of this. And how do you want to position yourself differently? And if there's a lesson at all in any of this, it's that we do have to have more than one core service that we offer in order to thrive in times of change. And so I know a lot of us have shifted to doing virtual consultations or e-consultations. I don't want to use the word virtual, so I'm going to encourage you guys not to as well, because we don't want to do virtual staging. We're not a fan of that, where they put the fake furniture in, and that basically takes business from us. So then if we're turning around and saying I'm doing virtual consultations, I'm throwing that word in there. So instead do teleconsult. Thank you, Christopher Corder, for that idea. Teleconsult or video consult or remote or electronic. And so there's different methodologies and words you can use. A lot of us have converted into doing those for our clients, consultations. Now, a consultation can be for house for sale, but what else could a consultation be for? You can do color consultations. You can do redesign, home makeovers. There's lots of things we can do as a stager that have nothing to do with selling a house. And so I wanted to get the information from Joanne Leonard Weary and Sandra Race about the color courses that are online, that you can position yourself as a color expert. And in order to do that, you want to get knowledge. So it's not just have a fan deck and off you go. There's a whole, science behind the colors and how to recommend and so forth. And Joanne's class is fabulous. Such great feedback from it. And there's an online version. And so color is for anybody. It doesn't have to be for somebody who's selling. So then you can actually market yourself as a color expert and be able to do consultations for people, and then maybe even help them with home makeover and redesign, which is where Sandra Race comes in. She has courses on that for people, all the way for even specific holiday decorating and so forth. And so in order to keep money coming in, we have to have other channels of income. And to my knowledge, this is probably the first time that there's been like mandates for, real estate can't happen or what have you. And all of a sudden we can't do business. So you never want to be in that position where you're at the mercy of something like that, where either, it could even be where the market gets so tough, like in the past when interest rates were high and it was hard to buy and sell things, that impacted the market. So as a creative person, what else can you do with your time? If you're crafty, maybe you branch off and do refinishing of furniture and so forth. And I see a lot of people selling those on the Facebook marketplaces. You can make some extra income that way. But as a service provider, think about who your core clients are and all the homeowners you've worked with and so forth, and let them know that you're available to help them with fixing up their homes or doing a remote assessment on what they have going on in their houses right now. People are nesting at home, and some people do still have income, and so they're taking a look at cleaning things out, organizing. That's another offshoot you could do. June Carter is a professional organizer, and she shared about that at our conference last year, about how those go hand in hand. And so think about all the people right now are sitting at home and looking at the messes around and wanting to get their houses organized, but don't know where to begin. And a lot of that can be done remotely as well. So, my challenge to all of us is to think about other services we can provide that have nothing to do with the resale market, real estate market. What else can we do to derive income and get that in place now? It doesn't matter that you may not have had it until now. Do something now to get that piece in place so that we're never in the situation again where you're feeling like I can't earn any money, because that's a scary place to be. And so you want to get different credentials, niche market credentials, because again, credentials give you credibility and clout within your staging. Take this time to advance your knowledge and your business, and then also to diversify. That's my advice for today. So that's it, everybody, for today. Next week, we are not going to have a show next week because I will be teaching the master's course, doing that through our classroom online and live engagement with all of our students. That's happening all week next week, Monday through Friday. So there will be no talk show unless I decide to challenge them and surprise them with us going live to have that experience. But otherwise, we'll be back the following Wednesday, which will be April. Let's see here. April Fools. It's just I'm looking at March. Tax day, April 15th. So we all know that taxes have been deferred into July, which is great. Doesn't mean you don't have to do them. So obviously take time to get that organized if you haven't already. But that'll be April 15th will be our next live show. And until then, you guys stay safe. And I'm, praying for everybody who's impacted health-wise. Please follow the instructions that your agencies are giving us as far as don't go getting around in big groups of people. Please take it very, very seriously. And because that's the only way to stop the spread is to stop. It doesn't spread unless there's people to spread to. And so the social distancing, if you look at the different scientific models, it's the best method in order to stop the spread. And I just pray that all your family members are safe. Please let me know if anybody is ill from this, because we do want to support our family members through this. And you guys are all my family. Anybody in the staging industry, we're a small but mighty family that has a big impact. And so please let us know if there's anything we can do to help somebody during this time that might be impacted. So otherwise, thanks everybody. God bless you. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.